Hudson watches me for several seconds, but eventually he sinks back against his chair. A few minutes later, they finish our intake paperwork. Then they scan our bracelets and run a scanner over us one more time to check to make sure all of our personal items have been removed.
Follow me.
He leads us back down the shadowy hallway until we get to a high-tech portcullis. The metal door is crisscrossed, just like the gates in old castles, but from what I can tell, each strip is lined with motion and heat-detecting sensors. Another guard sitting at a desk watches us.
Which cell?
He looks an awful lot like the guard leading us, except one of his antlers is half broken.
They're with Remy.
The other one nods and plugs a bunch of numbers into the fancy electronic dashboard he's got sitting behind him.
They're parked in cell block A. Spot 68 today.
I'm a little intrigued by the idea of cells being parked like cars, but that's something to worry about another time. Right now, I have a more pressing question. Who's Remy? And how did you know to mention him? The portcullis starts lifting.
My mom whispered it to me right before Cyrus took me away. She told me to find Remy. I don't know why.
Let's go.
We follow him. Eventually, we reach another gate and stop, but instead of ignoring us, this guard looks at us as he opens the portcullis.
You'd better hope that he's in a good mood. Remy hates surprises.
Yeah, he does. How many guards did it take to collect the pieces of the last person to ask for Remy?
4, and they had to make multiple trips.
Suddenly, a room without a sea view, and without Remy, seems like the way to go, no matter what Nuri said. But just as I'm reaching that conclusion, along with Flint and Hudson, I'm pretty sure, the guard presses a bunch of numbers on his control pad. But this time, instead of the portcullis going up, I can hear the sound of metal rubbing together, like massive gears grinding against each other. As the gears move, both guards step a little closer to the metal gate. What? Then, the floor we're standing on drops into a steep slant. We all try to grab onto something, but it's too late. We're already sliding down into a giant metal tube slide. It takes nearly a minute before I reach the end of the slide, and then I fall about 5 feet through the air onto a pristine metal floor. Oh. This time I hit ass first, because apparently landing on my feet with a little bit of dignity is too much to ask. It hurts, but I've got no time to absorb the pain, because I've got to scramble backward to avoid being hit by a falling Hudson who, of course, sticks his landing like a gymnast at the Olympics. Seconds later, Flint does the same thing.
Where do you think we are?
Hudson reaches down to pull me to my feet. Cell block 68? I look around the room, which is nearly as shadowy as the hallway. Still, there's enough light for me to register that we're standing in a cell made completely of a perfectly smooth, perfectly polished metal. I run a hand over the wall, but there are no ridges or seams at all. From what I can see, the whole thing is one continuous piece. Walls, ceiling, floor. I've never seen anything like it, and the artist in me is fascinated, even as the rest of me is terrified that we've just landed in a perfect metal coffin. And then...